When did you expose your husband's secret activities? When I found out what my husband was doing in that alley to make us money, I didn't know if I should leave him or hug him. It all started when Joshua lost his job at the warehouse 3 months ago. He came home that Tuesday with his shoulders slumped and his lunchbox still full. The company was downsizing and he was one of the newer guys. I told him we would figure it out together like we always did. For the first few weeks, everything seemed normal. Joshua said he was job hunting and left the house every morning in his good shirt. He came back tired but hopeful. Then something changed. I noticed he started going out at weird hours. Sometimes he left at 10 at night and came back after midnight. Sometimes he disappeared on Saturday afternoons when he used to watch football. He always had cash though. Crumpled up bills that he smoothed out on the kitchen counter with a tired smile. One day I checked his phone location while he was in the shower. My heart dropped when I saw where he was spending all his time. It was an alley behind the old comic book store downtown. The same alley where sketchy stuff happened. Everyone knew about that alley. I started watching him more carefully. He would shower twice a day now. He avoided eye contact when he handed me the money. His hands shook a little when he counted out the bills. Something was very wrong. The worst part was seeing the other men who went to that alley. I drove by once when Joshua was there and my stomach turned. Big sweaty guys with stained shirts came and went. Men with greasy hair and neck beards who looked like they hadn't seen sunlight in years. They all had this hungry look in their eyes. That night I moved to the couch. I couldn't stand the thought of touching him. Joshua looked confused and hurt, but I just turned away. How could I tell him that I knew? That I had figured out what he was doing in that alley with those men? The days turned into weeks. Joshua kept bringing home money, but I kept sleeping on the couch. He tried to talk to me, but I always found excuses to leave the room. I started doing his laundry separately. I used extra soap like I was trying to wash away whatever was happening in that alley. My sister asked me what was wrong when we had coffee. I almost told her everything, but the words got stuck in my throat. How do you tell someone that your husband might be selling himself to creepy men in an alley? How do you explain that he's doing it to pay the bills? Joshua started leaving notes around the house. Little pieces of paper that said he loved me and missed me. One morning I found one taped to the coffee maker that said he didn't understand what he did wrong. I crumpled it up and threw it away before I started crying. The money kept coming. Sometimes it was $50 and sometimes it was $200. Always in small bills that looked like they had been in someone's sweaty pocket. I used the money to buy groceries, but it made me feel sick. Every apple and loaf of bread was paid for with whatever Joshua was doing in that alley. After a month, I couldn't take it anymore. I was going crazy thinking about it. I had lost 10 pounds from not eating. Joshua looked miserable all the time. Our kids kept asking why mommy and daddy didn't hug anymore. On a Thursday night, I waited for him by the door. When he came in with his pockets full of wrinkled bills, I finally exploded. I know what you're doing in that alley, I said. Joshua froze. The money in his hands scattered on the floor. I know about the men. Those gross, sweaty men who go there. I've seen them, Joshua. I've seen them coming and going, and I know what you're doing with them for money. His face went white, then red. Then he did something I didn't expect. He laughed. Not a happy laugh, but a broken one. You think oh God, is that why you won't talk to me? He grabbed his car keys and told me to follow him. I was scared, but I went. We drove to a storage unit across town. Joshua opened it and my jaw dropped. The unit was packed with boxes. Pokemon cards in protective cases, vintage Nintendo games still in plastic, action figures I remembered from when we were dating, shelves and shelves of collectibles that Joshua had been gathering since he was a kid. This was my retirement plan, he said quietly. My dad left me these when he died. I've been meeting collectors in that alley because the comic shop owner lets us use his back door for privacy. These guys pay cash and they don't ask questions. He showed me a notebook where he tracked every sale. The Charizard card that went for $800. The sealed Super Mario that sold for $2,000. All those creepy men were just collectors who spent too much time indoors. Joshua pulled out an envelope from his pocket. Inside was $3,000 in cash. I've sold almost everything, he said. I wanted to keep us afloat until I found a new job. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd try to stop me. This collection was my pride and joy, but you and the kids are more important. I stood there in that storage unit, surrounded by what was left of my husband's childhood dreams. He had been selling pieces of himself to take care of us, and I had spent a month thinking the worst of him. I'm so sorry, I whispered. Then I hugged him for the first time in a month. Joshua had sacrificed his most precious possessions for our family, and I had failed to trust the man who loved us more than anything. Joshua got a new job 2 weeks later, but I'll never forget what he was willing to give up for us.